I'm your host, Felipe Rose, and welcome to the Disco Chronicles and Beyond. This podcast is about the disco era, the music, the culture, and the impact it's had on the world today, and why disco is still so hot. After successfully touring the world for over 4 decades as one of the original co-founders and members of the world-famous Village People, selling over 100 million records, this disco king truly knows a thing or two about the disco era. So sit back and relax and enjoy my conversation with my guest today. Hey everybody, Happy New Year. I'm Felipe Rose, your host. Happy birthday to all the Capricorns out there around the world. Am still a Capricorn. My birthday was last week. I celebrated pretty much for the entire month. This new season is now called the Disco Chronicles and Beyond. My guest today, Carol Williams, born in Montclair, New Jersey, is a vocalist and songwriter. She achieved success with her disco songs in the 1970s. She was signed to the disco label Salsoul Records. Williams began working with the great producer Vincent Montana Jr. and the Salsoul Orchestra. Her most notable recording, More, was popular at the time when disco was just breaking into the mainstream to rule the world. The success of More led to her first studio album, Electric Lady. Her credits are literally way too long to get into, so it's only fitting and my honor to finally welcome her on this Martin Luther King holiday and my first guest for season 3, episode 1, Carol Williams. It took so long to get you. Welcome. So Carol Williams, yay!
Hi, everybody. Hi, Felipe.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Let this be our year.
Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, yes, definitely. Thank you.
And in a nutshell, how do you feel about that today, looking back at how long ago it was? I can't believe that I think it's 50 years.
That's a long time. It doesn't seem like it's been 50 years.
It really doesn't.
It really doesn't feel that way. And I mean, he was such an important person in everything that we were doing, our progress of going places and doing things as we were supposed to rightfully have.
But it wasn't just the Black community. It's just people of color in general.
Right. He was just there for everybody, and I think about if he was still here today,
my God.
Would it be, even with the George Floyd thing that happened?
Oh my God, I haven't even, please, because when you really think about it, even just hearing his voice, what an incredible orator he was. To even hear new words coming from him, it would really, what a shame. Yeah, what a shame.
Yes.
So Carol, thank you again. The last time I saw you was for my 65th birthday party.
Which you don't look that age at all.
I feel older because I'm older. That was I think 4 years ago, because I just turned 69.
Right, but you don't look it either. Well,
thank you. I had several parties in New York. One of them was all boys, and Fire Island, New York, the Hamptons, and all that. And a lot of them who heard of me didn't know about me. I heard through the grapevine. You're gonna love this. They were like, they told my friend, because I was celebrating my birthday with another Capricorn, and they said, "We can't wait to meet Grandpa." You know when I saw them, I looked I looked around, I said, "Do you see any grandpa here?" I don't see a grandfather here, do you?
No.
So Carol, you got started at such a very young age, and your first album, you were signed to Salsoul Records. you worked with the great Vincent Montana Jr.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just had his daughter Denise on a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. He's
I
the,
think like 2 months ago,
okay.
and that was another fascinating story. Tell us about your meeting with him. How did that happen, actually?
Well, actually, when I got signed with South Soul, I was actually supposed to have Floyd, which was Lolita Holloway's husband. He was supposed to be the producer. Right.
Another great artist, Lolita Holloway.
Um, they lived in Chicago. So they didn't like to fly at all. They drove everywhere they went. They did not like to fly. Lolita didn't, and neither did her husband. So I kept waiting and waiting. Well, when it's for, we got to pick the songs. We got to do whatever we have to do. And it kept going on. So then they eventually put me with Vince. And Vince lived not too far. He lived like in Cherry Hill.
Right. Okay, that's near Philadelphia.
Yeah, so it wasn't far for me to go down. At the time when I was put with Vince to pick out the songs, I was working at the Holiday Inn in New Brunswick, New Jersey, which wasn't far from Cherry Hill, where he was.
Wow. Were
So
you were you when you were at that moment in your life, and you are moving into this new friendship relationship, professional relationship with Vince Montana? Did you have a sense of who he was?
oh yes, I mean
Okay.
I knew the songs that he had out. Oh yeah, I knew who he was, definitely.
Right. Yeah. There's a beautiful documentary on him coming out soon.
Yes, it is. His daughter is definitely. I'm on it too.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you would be because it's
Yeah.
about his life, you know. Um, so tell me something. Um, you went from so you were a studio singer, and did that lead you to your first album, Electric Lady?
Uh, well, actually, I wasn't really doing too much in the studio when I auditioned to be with South Soul. I was with a band, and it was a top 40 band. We were doing everybody's songs, and we were doing the Ramada Inns, the Holiday Inns, and that's what I was doing as a living. So when I auditioned and got the part for, they were looking for a girl disco singer. So when I got the part, that's when I signed with South Soul, and then they put me with Vince.
And then from there, you moved on to you had your sophomore album, but you moved on to another label,
Yes,
which was Quality Records.
Quality Records up in Canada.
And you had a duet with the singer producer Tony Valor. Love Has
Yes,
Come My Way.
yes.
Now this was again still disco.
Yeah, it
Was
was still dance music like.
was dance music, but it was. Would you say it was funk?
Well, you mean my album, the album you're talking about that I did on,
Yes.
okay, yes, I kind of veered a little away from the disco sound and tried to make it more I guess like R&B kind of.
The R&B dance.
Yes, and I wrote every song on the album.
Oh my God. Okay, so now you're gonna make me back because there's another one called Come Back.
Yes,
And then Love Is You. I know, I'm aware of that because I always, every now and then, especially when you on BLS, they'll play it. It'll
yeah.
just randomly come on,
Okay.
and that was again, an epic moment in time.
Mhm.
How did you feel when disco started to, being killed off by radio? Because they literally hit the switch.
Yeah, it was. 1 minute it was all over the radio. That's all you heard. Just especially with Donna Summers and the Village People, everybody.
Well, there was stuff that was going on back behind the curtains,
Yeah.
behind the curtains at Casablanca Records, because she
Yeah.
was having her huge legal fight with Neil Bogart, where she wanted her money.
Oh,
Giorgio Moroder said, "Go get it." He said, "No, I don't want to get in the middle of that," and she won. She sued and won. So while that was going on, here we are with a studio album and a live album. The
right.
Live and Sleazy album, followed by the soundtrack of Can't Stop the Music.
Unbelievable.
with Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner. Now I'm confused, but he was in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I don't know what was going on. I tell you,
But if you ever saw the movie Can't Stop the Music, if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna have to send you a DVD.
please do, because I
You
don't.
know, so when disco, of course, because what happened was that, and I found out through a lot of the interviews with, like, say, Nicky Siano's coming on, but people like Ray Caviano and John Luongo and Lenny Fontana getting the history correct.
Right.
And this is why I love this show. It's a time capsule, because I believe that you have found in the past, like I have, where people are younger than us are rewriting our history only
Yes.
because of what they're listening to and the reading, and they're putting our lives together, and that's not the way it happened, you know.
Right.
And basically, what I discovered, because I was in the business, in the industry, on the inside looking out, much
Mhm.
like you were on the outside looking in at me, but I didn't know what was really going on. And basically, in conversations in the past episodes that we had in season 2, you know,
Mhm.
we realized and found out that the DJs, because the record company, the radio stations did not want to support disco early on when you started going into that, they
Mhm.
DJs found a way to bypass the radio stations and remix the songs, and people would hear them in the clubs and they go out and buy it and they would climb. In 1977, the top 25 hits were all top 25 disco. And
Okay.
now radio goes, wait a minute. Oh, we want a piece of this.
Yeah, of course. You know they
So
want.
they got a piece of it. They got in the action. And as you know, many people don't talk about it. Payola came around
Yes.
to pay
Yes.
the radio stations.
And
But
payola was always around, even before, way before disco.
oh, really? Yeah, you think, so you would know that the payola was pay
Yeah.
the pay the
Oh,
radio
sure.
DJ, right, to pay so
Oh,
he could push
sometimes
the song.
just all those songs and everything. They were all, Alan Freed and all that. They were getting money. Yeah.
And so basically, the very same people, the entity that wanted to get in on the action, their fan base did not like this, so didn't understand it. So they decided to have that, the race riot of the disco demolition party blowing up
Mhm.
records.
Right.
And that's
Right.
when I got a sense of that I could not believe that it was happening, because to me it felt like, say we had written books, because basically that's what we do when we put out music.
Yeah.
Village People was pretty much like the way you worked in your early days. Our ex-producer Jacques Morelli at Sigma Sound, he had an orchestra with strings and with drummers and this and
Right.
that,
Right.
and so that being said, I found it really offensive that they were burning the music that we recorded. So a
Oh,
lot of projects had to be ditched because radio station got in on the action and they flipped the switch.
yep. It's terrible.
And I asked Gloria Gaynor, what was that like? She said it was like, you're right, turning the switch, the lights are out, and
Yeah.
you're in your dark room feeling your way around.
Right. What do you do now? Now what do you do?
Exactly. Well,
Hmm.
we're gonna hold that thought, and we're gonna have our first break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back, everyone. Please don't go away. Thank you, everyone, and welcome back to the Disco Chronicles and Beyond. And we have our guest tonight, Carol Williams. So let's continue with this. Like, again, your credits are so long. So you leave Salsoul Records,
Yes.
then you go on to a Canadian record label.
Yes.
You did that. Then in 1979, you came out, Tell the World and Dance the Night Away. Still
Yes.
disco. It was still
Yes.
disco.
Definitely.
And then when did your music and what you were producing and writing, it started to change? Did you kind of have a hindsight that, oh, looks like disco is dying, let me just segue into R&B music.
I don't think that I thought that disco was dying,
Well,
but
I don't think none of us did.
no, we definitely, I didn't think it was dying, but I felt that I wanted to do different songs. I was in a top 40 band.
Yes, you said that.
So I was well aware of doing everybody's song, top 40. So I felt that there was a lot of other things that I wanted to do other than just, the dance music, even some jazz and stuff like that I've done. So I was just at the point of just trying to just listen to different music and go down a different path.
Right, because in 1982, then you had the R&B hit, "You Can't Get Away From Your Love." That was
Yeah.
on the Vanguard label.
Yes.
And that went into like I think in the top 30 in Billboard magazine. If I was looking at it the other day, a couple of days ago. And then there in 83 it kept peaking and they eventually stopped at 59. But then you were still uh you were in the studio like hours and hours a day recording. What do you like more? Are you're all all around established artist. What do you love more, the writing, the singing, or the singing and the performing?
I like the singing and the performing. I call that the end product of when you actually can go out and the people know the songs and you sing them, and it's just a closeness that you get to the audience. The writing well, Felipe, it's hard work. You got
It is hard work. That's why I'm asking. Do you like that more? Because it seems to me that from what I'm reading on you, there's so much recording that you and writing that you have done. Now, does she love that more? Does she love the performing? But you're out here, you're out performing, you have a band.
Yes.
You've even written new music with the Darvel.
Yes, with
your son.
Yes, we have a song we wrote, it's gonna be different. Actually, that track was sent to me from the UK. Somebody from the UK got in touch with me and said, could I write to the track? And he sent the track, and it's very easy for me to write to a track because it's just there. The track is there, so you
really I can't. Oh my God, I try. I gotta be in the studio live or sitting with someone in the same room, either on keyboards or on a guitar. Yeah, to break down the melody line so that I can get into it, with my vocal arrangement or how I think I should go. And if not, but yeah, you can actually take a track someone sends and you can
and I can write.
I take my hat off to that.
Yeah,
I really do.
Can do it pretty fast, and the words come to me pretty good. I'm with my lyrics. I think I'm a better lyricist than I am as far as melody.
Right. Do you start a song? Do you start first with the hook or the verse?
Let me tell you what I do. I could be washing the dishes, right? And I could come up with a title. I come up with titles and I write all the titles down.
Right. Okay. I do that. Go ahead.
Right. And so if the title is whatever it's called, if the title is Tell the World, that's going to be your hook. Your title is usually your hook of your song.
Sure.
So I usually come up with the hook first.
Well, for me, it's the chorus because I don't like writing verses. I don't really. I'm still self-conscious about writing about me. So I like to write in the first sense with someone else, tell a better story because I think I like writing the hook first, the chorus, and then we go to verse and then a subverse or then we decide we're going to bridge the song. Where is that going to happen?
Right. Well, the chorus and the hook is basically like the meat of the song, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So if you come up with that, it kind of gives you an idea of what to write for your verses because you kind of have the chorus there saying what you're saying in the chorus, so you can that's how I write. I come up with the chorus and then I'll write the verses.
Now, as you're saying this, and I'm thinking that Um, okay, and before we went to break, you said something like when I asked you about disco, and you
Mhm.
said, well, they killed it off, but we didn't go anywhere. And that really is the consensus between all DJs and all disco dance artists. That
Yes,
okay, well, you're leaving us, but
right.
we're
Listen,
not going anywhere.
and you know what, Felipe? I noticed a change when Lady Gaga came out with her songs when she first started coming out. If you noticed, her songs were very dance. Maybe I wouldn't say disco, but dance. In
Well,
that,
that was post disco, post dance. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I noticed that when she came out with, what she was doing, it kind of brought some of the things back that people started, disco artists started, getting booked and stuff. That's what I noticed. And I tell everybody, oh, Lady Gaga, she's the one that, with her videos and, the way she did everything, it was like she was just kind of bringing it back, but she was, young and a new artist.
And that's the thing that many of us and in past discussions in season two, um, when radio turned this back on
Mhm.
disco, and a lot of the labels, because the thing is that once that revenue is not coming in, a lot of labels started cutting departments. This,
Yeah,
the publicity, okay, that whole department's gone. You
right,
know, uh the best producers, no, you're not going to get the best producer, you're going to get that producer.
right.
Instead of 100,000, you only have 25,000. So it affected everything, the bottom line.
Yes, definitely.
And I know that with Village People, we thank God we had such a huge international following
Oh
that
yeah.
we went abroad and stayed abroad for years.
Really? Just not even coming back to the
We would come back in the mid 1980s and then 80s. And we broke up, and we broke up where I thought it was going to be finally the end in 85. But
Mhm.
then Randy Jones got it itching and calls me. Now I'm
Uh-huh.
segueing. I don't want to talk about me, but since we're talking about it, and we're talking about this situation, that what was happening at the time when I get the phone call, and Randy's saying, "What would you say if we got back together again?" And I
Mhm.
said, "Well, really? It's now in 1987. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know that I want to do it again." He said,
Mhm.
"Well, we're kind of sitting here in musical theater works in New York City. We're kind of all here, and they're listening to you on speaker to see if you're going to say yes." I said, "We? Who's we?" Alex, Glenn, David Hodo, Ray Simpson. So I said, "Are you serious?" And they said, "Yeah, we are. Want to get back together?" And that's how we threw it back together again.
Oh my, isn't that
And
something?
the first country that we decided to go and send, let them know that we were going to go back out on the road was Australia.
Oh,
And once we got back together, it was just like we didn't stop. And we went to
is
Australia for 39 times.
it unbelievable? I
And
mean,
so
when you think of it, Trump was using your all song for his campaign.
I know he was warned and told not to do it. And
Uh,
then, of course, he does what he wants.
yes.
But then when I really look at it, I mean, I don't like it, but
Hmm.
I like when the money comes in
Yes,
because the royalties have doubled.
that's right. The
And
more you,
I'm not saying that, you know, but who doesn't want their money
of course, and you're in,
coming in? I just never wanted it or ever thought that it was going to be used for political purposes.
right. Well,
You know,
when you have songs out there, you just don't know what people are doing. You don't know what they're doing with it, but it shows that people know it, people like it, and people remember it, and it'll always be around, even when we're not here.
and
It,
so disco then goes underground and then becomes house music, and
yes.
then it goes from house into R&B, and
Hmm.
then the electro disco. So you're during that time 75 Rattlesnake, 76 you had two. You had Just Feel and you have More, which I love.
Okay.
Okay. 77 when the group came out, you had Come Back, and Love Is You.
Hmm.
This is you, all you. Okay. Then in 77, going into 79, so that's 78, 79, I Need You Baby and Love Constitution.
Yes,
Now, did you write Love Constitution?
I wrote Love Constitution.
Isn't that that's a very interesting word to have connected to a song with love?
You know what? That if anybody ever asks me what is my favorite song,
What is your favorite song?
Love Constitution.
No.
And I mean, it's not like you know, it was never out as a single or anything. It was in the album.
Yeah, I know, but I was looking through your discography and I thought, love Constitution. What so what's constituted about it? So I'm gonna have to listen to
Yes,
it again.
listen to the words. Yes.
That's what I'm going to do. And then of course you had 79 going and ending with Dance the Night Away.
Yes.
Then 1980, Tell the World.
Yes.
Now, what was the idea behind it? What got you to write that?
That actually, I wrote that song with my husband. I was actually upstairs doing the dishes, and he was downstairs in the basement playing the Wurlitzer. It was a Wurlitzer. People wouldn't even know what that is nowadays.
Okay, right.
And he's playing chords. I hear these chords he's playing, and I'm saying, "Oh, let me go downstairs." Went downstairs. I said, "Let me hear those chords you was playing." And the minute he started playing those chords, I came up with the I came up with the hook with the chorus.
Beautiful.
And then I said, "Okay." And then because he's a musician.
No, the whole family.
So we got into a big argument because he said I didn't have as many bars in the song as I'm supposed. I said, "I don't know about bars, but I know how it feels to me when I think, and this is how I want it to go." So
yes,
go the night away and Tell the World. And I told him after that I will never write with him ever again.
You were done. That was it.
That was, I said, I get into an argument. You know, he's a trumpet player, so you know.
Well, it seems that every song after that you started writing, maybe it was a message to him, like no one can do it like you.
Yes.
Can't get away from your love.
Yeah.
Shake It Easy, but that was with a band. That was Billy Mercy band.
Yes. Oh, that song, Shake It Easy.
Shake It Easy, yeah.
I was called in to just sing it because they had a band and he wanted me to sing it. I didn't write that. He had, I think he wrote it or whoever wrote it, and he wanted me to come in and do it, and I did that. And it charted. I couldn't believe it.
So here you are recording while disco now is really fading away. Like it's 83, 84. So you come out now with, you've reached the bottom line.
Yes.
Then that's 83, 84. Going into 85, you've got another song out. What's the Deal and Have You for My Love?
Yes.
And now you're traveling.
Well, actually, Have You for My Love and What's the Deal? I just found out that I think a DJ over in the UK, Netherlands, he is playing it. He got 12,600 and something hits on that song on
because they're playing it now. They discovered it.
Yes, he's playing it now, and I want to thank him and send him something because he does play it, and you see him playing it with all of the young kids dancing to it and everything. I said, "Oh my God, I did that song like what 15 years ago or something, or
maybe
20.
more. Yeah,
20 years
in the 80s. You did it in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then the last big recording, The Queen of Hearts.
Yes. I did that. That was just something that, and I wrote that too. I wrote that with Daryl Payne, the producer. That was just a thing that we came up with, and just did it. That I wouldn't say that it's disco, but it's more what did we call that? It's more dance, I guess, like a dance record or something.
Well, but the thing is that, again, disco the industry may have choked and killed off by others that
Hmm.
didn't like it and didn't like, because it was a $1 billion industry.
Right.
Um, and so it goes underground, and then suddenly the DJs are really pumping out remixes and what have you. And so you're still working, and okay, when you're not calling it disco music, you're calling it funk or R&B music, but
Right.
those are the early roots of disco.
Yes. Okay.
When
Yeah.
you had the OJs and double exposure, like
Mhm.
that kind of music, those kind of hits are just like salsa orchestra with
They'll be around forever.
Lolita Holloway,
Mhm.
and Dan Hartman, Relight My
Yeah.
Fire. Like
Fantastic.
that stuff will stand forever.
Oh yes, definitely. There's no. I mean, anybody that any DJ or anybody that's in this business, they know those songs. They definitely know those. Well, they know like you all songs.
Right,
The
right.
village
Now
always around.
in
It's
in
always
the in later years, of course, then when we uh, fell into orbit, you were behind the scenes working with the Vinyl Legends Hall of Fame.
mm-hmm.
You were working on that because I believe it was you that reached out to me. Lewis reached out first, and then
Uh-huh.
he said, and Carol's gonna call you in case you need anything. And I said, for what? And he need anything for what? And then you called him. Oh my God. And
Yep,
so I'm like, what do I do? I'm gonna be in the Vinyl Legends Hall. What do I have to do? You said, nothing, just be there to support.
that's it.
And I said, oh,
Or they,
okay. And now they're doing that, and they're in a very nice venue.
yes, yes,
It's
yes,
a theater. It's a theater, very classy.
yes. Did you? Yeah, you were there for that. Did you come? You
I
didn't
didn't
come.
go to that. I was there. The last time I saw you was when I was inducted.
Okay,
And then
okay,
I went the following year to induct Lottie Da,
okay. And
who
then
I
you
was who I
what?
was with last night
Okay, she's
in New York. But
okay.
I never got to hand her award
What
because
happened?
she was so feeling so good with her with her with her cocktails that they're trying to they're reading the teleprompter of the woman down below,
Uh-huh.
and I'm
Yeah,
standing there to give her her award, but
right.
she's looking at the audience and she got and gyrating and moving around. I went, okay, I'm gonna go. And I walk off with the thing. And I told her, she said, Felipe, I don't remember that. I said, no, you didn't, because you were having a good time. You were supposed to have a good time after you got the award.
Oh, she's amazing. She's so much fun to be with. Let me
I'm
tell you.
gonna go to her birthday party. It's at the end
Oh,
of the month.
yeah, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna have
Yeah.
something else. I tell
So
you.
what is next for Carol Williams?
Well, right now, I have a studio, and I've had the studio now about maybe 20 years now, but I'm going to have it's going to be almost like a 2 album deal because I have so many songs that I have done that have not been put out. They haven't been released.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
Congratulations on that.
yeah, so that's what hopefully I'm just waiting for my son to mix some of the stuff and add some a little bit to it, and that will be coming out hopefully by February.
And well, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear this. The other thing is, during the lockdown,
Hmm.
were you writing? Were you at home? Did you write music,
Yeah,
or
I
did you
did.
write songs?
Yes, I did. I wrote a song called Surrender. And someone from France sent me the track. And I just wrote. It's like just came to me like that. And then I had somebody else to sing it with me. It's another guy, it's a guy. And it just like we did it in one take down here in the studio. And that's gonna be part of the one of the songs that's gonna be on the album. Yes, it's called Surrender.
Well, that's incredible. Now, the other thing is your son, who I met.
Yes, you know Deverne.
Okay, Deverne, how is he?
He's doing fine. He's all over. He has
He's
three.
quite the musician. Like
Yes,
you, he's in his own orbit.
he's in his own. He
And
just
I find that fascinating. What does that feel like for you to have your child, sibling, your son, following your footsteps, and then he's like he's doing it. He's doing him, and he's successful at it.
yes, and he knows how to engineer. Because when we got the studio, I said, "Oh, I'm going to learn how to do." I don't see any women engineers in the studio. I think.
Oh no! Wait!
Do you know of one?
I had I had it last season. I think episode 2. I'm gonna send you a couple of episodes. Evelyn Thomas.
Really?
She took herself to engineering school.
Unbelievable.
And then what came out of the pandemic, she decided, well, let me just really work at it more. And she then got into the studio, wrote, and she engineered and recorded her song and laid down the track and laid down her vocals and mixed it down.
Oh
And
my God.
now there is a recording studio engineer, a female.
Well, listen, Felipe, I thought I could do it, and I said I don't want. This is just too much for me.
Well, it's long hours. It's very long hours.
I no, I don't. I don't want to do it. So that was the end of that. You know.
And so in 2020, in the middle of right at the beginning of the pandemic, my birthday rolls around, and I said, well, what am I gonna do? I mean, PTSD kicked in. I didn't know, I was living here alone and with my cat. I said, oh my God, I'm depressed. I don't know what to do. And I was talking to one of my songwriters and my young producer, Tyler Safford, and he's about 29 years old now, maybe 30. And he said, you should come into the studio with me. And you can wear your mask. I'm vaccinated because his family works in the hospital. So he got vaccinated early. And he said, but come to the studio. I'll just be me at the house in the studio and let's write something. So I drive down. He asked me, what did you want to write about? And I said, well, I want to see everyone dance again in the clubs because the clubs are empty. We were in lockdown.
Yes, nobody was doing anything.
So because of Dua Lipa and writing all these disco songs or songs that sound like disco, the Korean pop group BK7, they sounded like a New Village People, and then all the Donna Summer remixes. I said to him, yeah, I think I want us to dance again. He said, that's a good title. Let's start with that. And we wrote Dance Again in 5 hours and recorded it. The video is on YouTube. I'll send you the link to that.
Yeah, please let me see it.
But I didn't get to go out and perform it or do anything because again, we were in lockdown for the rest of the year.
Everybody's gigs were canceled. There was
my God, I had shows.
Yeah, everything.
They were gone.
Yes, so it was just where you just stayed in the house and did whatever you had to do and just tried to just make it,
Yeah, it's very interesting. I was talking to Gloria Gaynor I spoke to her last month, but then I spoke to her shortly after she was revealed on The Masked Singer.
Oh yes, I saw that.
And I was watching, and Robin Thicke goes, "I know that voice. I know that's Gloria Gaynor." And so they said, "And let's go back, and let's see all the times she sang." Because now there's the unveiling.
Right.
And I'm listening. I said, "That's Gigi." Yeah. And no sooner than take it off, and she starts to do this. And then when they took it off, it was Gigi, it was Gloria. So because I know that these shows are taped like a month or two ahead, months ahead, I picked up the phone and called. She was laughing. She said, "Did you just watch that?" I said, "Yes," and I guessed that it was you. She said, "You and probably everybody else that knows me." But she told me she didn't really want to sing anymore because she really didn't want to stay there that long.
Really? Well,
because she got gigs. She's got gigs, that she can't cancel. And the longer you keep staying, the longer they keep you. So she was singing, but she wasn't really giving it.
Right.
But at least it was fun. It was fun for her to try something different. And she said they treated her like a queen.
Oh, that's
because
wonderful.
she didn't want to walk. She said, I'm
Okay.
not walking. So she told her manager, Stephanie Gold. Stephanie
Okay.
told them and said, no, she won't walk. She can't stand for long
Uh,
hours. So
right.
they built the seashell.
So that's why she was the mermaid.
That's why she was the mermaid. But
Oh,
that
so
was a beautiful mermaid.
it really was. It was. I mean, the outfits are absolutely gorgeous that they do on that show.
And
They,
interesting enough that in discussing when disco started, like the groundbreaking and earth shattering and all that, then
hmm
that same year, I Will Survive came out, so that kind of gave a little bit more reinforcement to our industry that here
Yes.
comes a huge hit, Donna Summer. You can say disco's dead, but now listen to this.
Right. I'm telling you, it was some great songs, wonderful songs.
And in talking to you, and I've spoken to DC LaRue and a whole bunch of other artists, everyone is thankful that we're here,
Yes.
and disco is bigger than ever, better
Yes.
than ever,
Yes.
and younger generations are listening to it. And I just found out I have a 4-month-old fan through my pharmacist.
What? 4 month old? Oh my
Her name
God.
is Maya. And I couldn't understand. I asked the father, how is she a fan? He said, well, she heard your song, she heard YMCA, she went nuts. And
What?
they thought, well, maybe it's just that song. And they played Lizzo, they
Uh,
played Beyonce, they
yeah.
played a little bit, and she's just like,
That
so they would go back to YMCA. She's like,
that's amazing. Well,
so I signed a photo, this is about 2 weeks ago, to a 4-month-old fan, so that
isn't
when she grows up, that picture will be in her room.
she'll know who you.
And those are the wonderful memories that we leave for people.
Yes. Well, another thing, Felipe, that I wanted to say is one thing that I loved about disco is that it brought the orchestration of the strings and horns and a harp, and it was just beautiful arrangements. And when you think about when you think about like Frank Sinatra and back in their day and time,
Yes.
used, even if it's a slow song or whatever, it was strings and horns and a big orchestra. And I said, one thing that I loved about disco is that it brought that whole thing with the
That
string.
whole vibe again of
I
doing
mean,
real
you,
music.
yes,
Four on four on the floor. And
yes, yes,
and that's the great Earl Young. Just
yes,
like Niles Rodgers has Chic, has his
yes,
rhythm guitar, that
yes,
lick and all that. That's his.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you brought up Frank Sinatra, and I'll tell you
Oh,
why.
okay.
Over the Thanksgiving, Christmas,
hmm
Christmas Eve, I was with my godson and Estella, who is the mother of my godson. She's my
Okay.
associate producer. We were having a really wonderful dinner and just sitting back and relaxing. And
hmm
I'm listening to all this Frank Sinatra music that my godson, who's I think 41 or 42, he's playing.
hmm
And because I guess I was just in that zone, I could not believe how beautiful some of those songs that he sang and the
Oh,
orchestration. And I actually started talking about it. Like,
yes.
and they looked at me and they said, oh yeah. And he said, yeah, I play. He said, I listen to Frank Sinatra a lot.
Isn't that so? It's beautiful. I mean, the music is absolutely gorgeous, and that's what one of the things that I really liked about disco is that it brought that whole full orchestration. I mean, I think I've seen the girl in the UK. She did it with a 50-piece orchestra. The girl that sings "Knock on Wood," Amy.
Amy Stewart.
I'm telling you,
Where's Amy? She's back out?
she's still, yes, she's in the, I think in the UK, but if you
Because
go,
she was in Rome the last time I saw her living there.
oh, in Rome,
She was
well,
living in Italy.
if you go on, you could go on YouTube and just put Amy Stewart. I think knock on wood.
No, and I definitely will, but it doesn't matter whether she's living in Paris
Yeah,
or not, because you could take the train or you could just drive
Yes,
to another country is not that big. Europe
right.
is not that big. I also need to contact Lee John
Hmm.
from Imagination.
Oh yeah, isn't he in the? He's in the
He's in
UK.
the UK. He's in the
Oh,
UK. So anything else that I would love for our fans on the Disco Chronicles to know about you? Anything else other than new music coming out? Where can people reach you?
yeah. Well, they can. I have Facebook. I don't have. Yeah, I do. I have Facebook and I have Instagram.
Okay.
But one of the things that I love to do is I like to knit. Not knit, crochet.
Oh, okay. There's a difference, right? That's smaller.
Maybe I crochet the baby's booties and the hat, the whole thing. Yeah, and
Now
that
listen to you, Grandma.
yeah,
Looking fine. I might add.
great
Oh
grandma.
my God. Well, God bless.
Yeah,
Wow.
granddaughter was the one that hooked up with the phone, and then her daughter is a year and 3 months.
Now,
So I'm a great.
now listen to how lucky you are. You have your son that knows all of this, like state of the art. That he can move around the studio. Then you
Yeah,
have your granddaughter who totally knows Zoom. She
yeah.
probably is a TikTok queen, you know. So any chance you might be going on TikTok?
I always just tell her to just do it. I don't know how to go online and all those things. How you can pay some things online. I don't know
Right,
how to
right.
do
No,
that.
I'm like playing around with TikTok right now. I need to get on there. So, Carol, again, I want to say thank you. It did take a really long time to get a hold of you because the calendar just seemed like it moved
It
so
just went
fast.
fast, Felipe. I'm telling you,
And
it's.
then we were losing, colleagues like just Ruth now,
I
Pointer.
know it's So I made it a point. I said no. I said I should have told my granddaughter from the very beginning because she would have got it right away. But anyway, we got it together. Thank God.
We certainly do, man. I'm honored that you're here on the show. When it gets edited, you will get it, and we'll send it to her
Okay.
so she can download it and she can put it on your social media pages.
Yes, send it to her. She'll do everything.
And please let me know if you're going to be performing anymore in my area or something like that, even Jersey City or whatever. Let me
Okay.
know and I can grab Estella and we can run and see you.
All right. And if you are anywhere, you better let me know because I will be coming.
I have a show in Long Island and the flyer, then everything, and the link they just sent it to me. In
Oh,
Long Island now, on Windows on the Lake, February 11th.
and was just we're very good friends with them.
Oh, with Andy Pellegrino, he says hello.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I'll definitely come to see you there.
Oh, well, you know what? You do. I know you do stuff like that because you came to my party.
Yes. Well, I'm going to come at Window on the Lake. See, Devon was there for New Year's.
Isn't that something? Well,
Uh-huh.
I will make sure I send you the link by email and by text.
Okay, and I will be there.
And I'm doing a long show. It's going to hopefully now be the foundation to my one-man show.
Okay, well, I want to come and see it.
Okay, well, great. Carol, again, thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone, this was Carol Williams. Please reach out to her on Instagram, on Facebook. Thank you to Eagle Radio Pro for being our sponsors. And you can listen to us on Anchor FM, and you can watch us and listen to us on Spotify.com. And yes, this episode will also have his own YouTube channel. And hopefully we'll be going to a larger venue where more eyes will be on the show. So again, Carol, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Okay, here's the studio.
Oh, heck, girl. That's okay.
And there's the vocal booth is in there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. And then I have a picture of all of the Harlem jazz people up here.
We might need to bring you back later in the year, sometime this year, and let's talk jazz.
Oh yes, that
because the show is Disco Chronicles and Beyond. Well, okay. I had a recording studio in Jersey City. It was Tomahawk Group, Tomahawk Records, and it was the recording studio, and it was like that. with the,
Really?
yeah, I did 2 albums with the Village People. Of course, they
Oh,
were shelved and what have you. And I had a lot of clients. I mean, so I was doing the road and in the studio working, and had
unbelievable.
engineers working there in-house.
Right, right.
You know.
Oh my gosh. Well, we
Well,
got
I
to get,
can't. Well, thank you for that, and I'm going to be researching you and finding out, getting lots of pictures on you and things like that. So as we're speaking, the pictures will show up
oh,
while
okay.
we're still talking.
Okay. Well,
And
thank you so
you look terrific. You look
much.
terrific.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you. I love
Bye,
you.
my love.
Bye-bye.